The fall is here, and there's no better time to cozy up with a captivating read.
Here to discuss which books are creating the biggest buzz this season is Essence Magazine's literary editor, Patrik Bass. Welcome, welcome.
Good to see you, Shannon and Lola, editorial projects director. Remember, I work with
you do
housing,
everything. Oh my gosh.
Yes, yeah. And Shannon, I'm just checking in on the update of your novel because the last two times I was here, you were talking about this guy that you knew who was working on a novel.
Yes, it's coming along
about
great.
Britney Spears this morning.
But
so
I can't give too many details. Okay. We have all these other books to get to. We won't have time.
Right. Too busy watching that Rihanna video.
Moving along.
Always good to be here.
Well, let's talk about the new literary world sensation. Her name is Alison Stewart.
Yes.
She's been called one of the new breed of rising young stars in broadcast journalism.
Right, this is Alison Stewart, who I'm a little too young to remember MTV, but Alison Stewart was the pioneering African-American news correspondent on MTV.
Oh,
and
yes.
she's worked with MSNBC and NPR, and she's just like a real force in broadcast journalism. So for her first book, you would think that she would give us some behind-the-scenes dirt, and there's a lot of dirt there over 20 years, right?
Yes,
but she chose to do right. So she chose a departure, and I'm glad she did. It's a book called First Class about Paul Laurence Dunbar High School in Washington, D.C., which is it's America's first public high school, and it graduated people like Edmund Brooke and Eleanor Holmes Norton and Dr. Charles Drew with the blood plasma. And so she tells the stories of the school's rise, its sad fall, and how it's rising again. It's an incredible book, and it's also sharp just in terms of education. Like everyone's having the education conversation, and here you have the education conversation through this iconic public high school and all of these various graduates who, not only the famous people, but people are like librarians today. Librarians matter. They taught me the Dewey Decimal System. They kept me in air conditioning when it was very hot in North Carolina. So always big up to the librarians.
You said the Dewey Decimal System.
Yes,
I love that.
Right. So, it talks about the education challenges in terms of public schools. It's not against charter schools or pro-public high schools, but it lays out this fantastic narrative about education, especially because so many people are talking about it in wonky political ways. And she's talking about it in a very, very personal way that also captures this incredible history of this. You know Dunbar High School from that region. So, and Dunbar High School just had I guess a grand unveiling in August where they received over $100 million and funding this school. So, there's a happy ending there.
And it's already getting great press. I mean, Melissa Harris Perry, she wrote the foreword for it.
Right.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Allison has an enviable Rolodex.
Right.
I have like a card in my Rolodex. This is a pretty enviable Rolodex.
Very impressive.
Yes.
So 2 thumbs up on this one.
2 thumbs up.
All right, so the next book, Terry McMillan, I mean, she's touched millions of readers with her popular books such as Waiting to Exhale, Getting to Happy, and of course, A Day Late and a Dollar Short.
Which is about to be a Lifetime movie.
That's
it's
true,
being filmed
yes.
just as we speak. And Terry's also a Twitter queen. And so I don't want to cross her on Twitter. I don't want to cross her life, but certainly not on Twitter.
Yeah, she's not one to play with.
Not at all. And this new novel is called Who Asked You? And coming from North Carolina, I keep saying Who Asked You? But this is a wonderful novel because it's quite a departure for Terry in so many ways, because Terry always writes in the first person. And she often does like 3 or 4 characters, but this time she takes on 15 characters.
15?
Wow. 15 characters. It's
That's
almost
very
like
ambitious.
It's almost like a Robert Altman film, right? Come to life. It takes place in Los Angeles. The main character is Betty Jean Butler, who is ready to move into her autumnal years, and all of these crises fall upon her, especially her sort of ratchet daughter who won't take care of her children. She has to take care of these children, which so many people in our community are doing, grandparents. And so she would sort of lets this story unfold in wonderful ways in which you get to meet, Trinetta, the sort of ratchet daughter, but all of these people in her orbit who all have comments about Betty Jean. So it's really 15 stories connected through Betty Jean. Wow. Very, very clever, highly energetic, and you'll feel like you really know these people.
We probably do. A lot of them are in our families, I'm sure.
Oh, I got some Trinettas. And some BJs. Have some BJs as well. I do.
Well, speaking of families, let's talk about Terrence J's new book. He's known to be a mama's boy, and now he's got a new book all about the knowledge that his mama gave him.
Yes, the wealth of my mother's wisdom. And just full confession, I hate no one, but it's so easy to hate Terrence J because he's so perfect, right? He's just the nicest person in the world when you meet him, right? He's very handsome, very successful. He went to North Carolina A&T and graduated, where so many people in my family struggled to make that happen, right? Just this really, really cool guy. And so you know what, you're thinking he's too young to talk about the secrets of his success. But what's really wonderful here is to really talk about his mother, because there are so many mothers that can relate to this particular mother, and the Valentine and the homage that he pays to her, strength and her courage, how she removed him from Queens to take him to North Carolina to really turn his life around. And so you get Terrence J, talking about working at Foot Locker, and this is a brother that everybody can relate to. And I think that the way that he writes about his mother is not earnest, it's not sappy, it's quite fun and energetic.
I was going to ask you, because it could be very saccharine sweet.
It could take a wrong turn. And he has a lot of support from his celebrity friends, who happen to be people like Kevin Hart and Laz Alonso, and so they really add some energy to the narrative as well. But I think the mother story, just of the sacrifices that she made for him, which we hear a lot in the pages of Essence magazine about, these heroic mothers, these triumphant mothers out there. She fits squarely into that. And I thank you guys so much for showing the November cover with Kerry Washington.
Yes.
But until you read the story, but his mother fits right into that whole pedagogy of what Essence is, of women giving back and helping the community. And it's nice to do this Valentine in the fall as opposed to Mother's Day, where it sort of gets buried.
Well, I was with him and his mother earlier this week, and
aren't you name dropping?
Oh, stop. No, I'm just, because they were doing a book signing, but the love, the strength that his mother showed,
I was with Della
really
Reese.
Get,
okay, so
that works too. That works too. But you can see how loving she is, and she almost like takes on everyone she meets as their kid, like, and gives them wisdom and stuff.
Absolutely.
So.
Yes, she's a triumphant and heroic. Like, she's a true Essence woman. So good Valentine to her.
Okay.
All right, so now we got to get to another book, because it seems like every reality star is coming out with a book nowadays. And the latest one to join the Housewife Book Club is Phaedra Parks, and her book is Phaedra.
Right.
And her newest book is The Secrets of a Southern Belle. So, did Phaedra get this one right, or is it more about donkey booty? What's going on
here? The donkey booty and the stallion booty, and everybody knows, when this came across my desk, I was really thinking, okay, Phaedra's been drinking too many mint juleps. I really thought that. I really thought that. And all
How did this book make
and I'm
this
thinking
list,
and I'm thinking so many of the reality women, I don't even know if they read, much less than write books. But here's the thing about the Secrets of the Southern Belle.
You need to sell this one, because I'm not believing you.
I'm from the South, right? I'm a Southerner through and through from North Carolina. And this book, what this really is, it's the true memoir of Whitley Gilbert. This is basically it's Whitley Gilbert from a different world. It's basically Whitley Gilbert. Like Phaedra has taken on an alternative personality. I don't believe that this is her at all, right? In this, so I'm looking at this as sort of fiction, really, but it's this real funny, sassy book, from a Southern woman who wants to do and have it all. I just completely disassociated Phaedra from this.
But this is not a novel. This is
not. This is Phaedra-isms. Yes, it's Phaedra-isms, but what it really is Whitley Gilbert. It's like a lot of that, Southern charm, a little bougetto. Remember that? She talked about the bougie in the ghetto.
Yes,
it's an homage to the Southern bougetto. So if you're a Southern bougetto, you would definitely love this book.
Okay.
Well, I'm not. So guess what?
It's in the November Essence.
You had me till we got to
exactly. I understand.
Fedora, a.k.a. Phaedra Parks.
Phaedra is not everybody's cup of mint julep tea, so I completely understand.
All right, well, let's talk about Rebecca Walker's new book. We're going from Phaedra to highbrow literary work.
Yes, this is Rebecca Walker's first novel, and Rebecca Walker is known for creating controversy, and I think she's a wonderful writer. Her first book was called Black, White, and Jewish, which talked about her being biracial. Her second book was called Baby Love, which angered every mother in America and the world because she was anti-McDonald's French fries, and even vegans will give their children a McDonald's French fry just to make them happy, right?
A happy meal.
So she's quite a lightning rod, and she and her mother have this ongoing feud that sometimes her mother acknowledges, sometimes her mother doesn't. Her mother is, of course, Alice Walker, and so it's really good to see Rebecca break out of her mother's shadow in terms of fiction with Ade, which is this beautiful love story, and just God bless Rebecca, because of course she's written this novel, many, many moons ago, but it takes place in East Africa. So I'm like, you would write a novel. You would write a novel, Rebecca, like this off the coast of Kenya right now with all these events going on. But remove all your thoughts about East Africa right now. It just focus on this beautiful, layered, lovely love story about Phaedra, who is a very accomplished American woman who falls in love with Ade, a Swahili man, and they get caught up in a civil war and then just let the games begin. It's really, really poetically written and quite erotic. It's, you know, it's got a lot of,
spice to it.
Rebecca goes there. She really goes there. It's a page turner in terms of, there are a lot of people involved in that relationship, let's just say, that their little house can get crowded sometimes, I can say.
Okay.
All right, so we have one more book to get to, and according to the New York Times, they say that Harlem Nocturne is written in a workmanlike prose that serves as a narrative but doesn't elevate the material. What do you think of that?
Okay, look at this left punch from Shannon here.
It's New York Times.
No, it's actually...
I'm trying to get to the bottom of it.
It's actually Nelson George, who I have the highest respect for, but I'm going to disagree with him on this. Nelson George wrote that review. Farrah Jasmine Griffith is a Columbia University professor, and what I think she's done wonderfully here is she's illuminating women's history through and Harlem history through the perspective of three women: Pearl Primus, the choreographer, and Petrie, the writer of The Street, and there's another woman there. Her name will come to me soon. And so she takes those three women and she really illuminates their lives and the struggle for independence, early signs of feminism. She connects it to the civil rights movement and this Mary Lou Williams, the jazz singer. You know, and these three women don't get that much acknowledgement in terms of what they've done for their respective arts, what they've done for their fields, And talking about these women, she really illuminates the real modern birth of Black feminism. And so this isn't more of an academic book. So it's not, it's popular reading, but I do believe that she made a strong premise and she delivered on that premise.
Okay.
I think she supported her premise quite strongly. So I will disagree with the New York Times.
So take that, Nelson George.
Lola will disagree with me on Phaedra Parks.
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, it's the stallion booty that I find more than the donkey booty. But so there you go.
All right. Well, now that we cleared all that up. Thank you so much for helping us with these fall reads.
Always good to be here.
Come back again next month.
Yeah, we have to come back. I have to come back because there are 3 Soul Train books coming out. One from Questlove, one from Nelson George, and one that's out right now. It's the Battle of the Soul Train books.
I like that.
We should just do a Soul Train line.
Just we'll go around the Soul Train Awards.
Bring some props.
We'll have you back soon. Thanks again,
Good to be here.
All right, you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.